Okay, I am going to read the proclamation for Orient that we received from the South Dakota Legislature. Senate Commemoration number 15, introduced by Senator Brown and Representatives Cronin and Hoffman. A legislative commemoration honoring and congratulating Orient, South Dakota on the 125th anniversary of its founding. Whereas Orient was officially organized on October 3rd, 1887 and became a booming town nicknamed the metropolis of the Great Ree Valley. Orient was named from a list provided by the Milwaukee Railroad when John T. Campbell gave land for the town site, stipulating, however, that the town not be named after him. And whereas Orient has been the home of state legislators A.J. Porter, Frank Swope, Oscar Hagan, and Dale Hargens, and Archie McKay, who served 20 years on the Game, Fish, and Parks Commission. And whereas the town of Orient has been popular for roller skating, ball games, dances, and motorcycle rallies. Orient has earned 24 state championships in boys, girls, women's, and co-ed baseball and softball. Virgil Hanson coached the boys team for 42 years. Girls and women's coach Kathy Remmers was named 2002 Softball Coach of the Decade and was inducted into the South Dakota Softball Hall of Fame in 2003.
Ray, people will come, Ray.
They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it. For it is money they have and peace they like.
Ray, just sign the papers.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers. Sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game. And it'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
Millie Hanson, wife of Virgil.
Bob Hanson.
Virgil Hanson.
Kathy Remmers, owner of the Orient Bar. I still live in Orient. Coached many years here.
There you go.
Margene Rogers. I started the softball, the fast pitch here in Orient. Now I live in Gillette, Wyoming.
Well, welcome back. When did you start coaching?
Around 1965. Dick Donovan came out to our house and wanted to get a team up. I thought he was crazy. And I said, I got 4 little kids, how am I gonna do that? I don't know, but you know me in sports, I love it, so. I did, and we got the ladies from around here. Millie and Lois Hargens, Virginia Weasler, Helen McKay. Everybody, yeah.
Oh, interesting. I never heard this story.
And we did it to have fun. And that's exactly what we had. I mean, half of them didn't know how to play ball. Irene Moore threw the ball backwards. Yeah, she played. I mean, it was ironic. But we did have fun.
Your turn, okay.
What time, yeah, see, I played for Margene too, but that was probably in, the late 60s, early 70s, you know. One day Margene called the farm and she knew that Bill and Winelda had a bunch of daughters, and she asked if we could come to town and play ball, and us girls begged and begged. Every day we'd play out in the pasture, because there were 12 of us. Every day, do dishes as quick as you could, so you could get out in the pasture and play ball, because we had an hour. So we'd eat real fast, and us kids would run out, and Dad would go out and play ball with us. So we were so glad when Margene called. Oh, God, we finally talked him into letting us come to town.
Yep, and then your mom was great. She ran the food stand.
Oh, yes. Her and
yes.
Betty go back in.
Yes.
Helen Schaefer's, those ladies.
They were. And half my team was Martin Moss's.
It was great. Margene was a great teacher. She was.
We had fun.
When you think back after all these years, I never did say thank you enough times. When I started coaching, I'd find myself saying the same thing you said years ago, and I thought I'd never say that. So it was great. Thank you for the memories. It was good.
It was fun.
You remember when we was playing in Pier and 2 girls went down? I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
that's enough?
Debbie Eaton and
Yes. Who would never wear shoes playing first base.
Yeah.
We
And then I
went.
told her to loosen up her bra, and she come up and said, I'm falling apart.
but she passed out. It was 100 degrees. It was hot.
Oh, yes. Pier was always hot. Never played ball there that it wasn't 100, 104. Even when after you left it, we had a slow pitch team, and I think that was in 81. And we won the state that year. It was the first time I ever been on a state winning team, and it was slow pitch. And they only had 3 divisions in South Dakota, A, B, and C, and we played in C, and they had, God, was it over 80-some, 100 teams in that division? It was ridiculous. We played 12 games in 2 days to win that state tournament. We got done at 2 a.m. in the morning.
I know it was
And,
ridiculous then.
Hot, oh my word. We had girls, I had 2 girls that didn't want to go out and play anymore because they were so hot and tired. We asked the umpire if we could play with 8. And he said no, if we didn't have 10 on the field, we had to forfeit. So we told 2 gals, go out and stand in right field, even sit down, but you had to be on the field.
Yep.
And we won the state tournament. We came back to the hugest party Orient ever had. They met us in Polo with fireworks, and people loved winners here.
Yes, they
God.
did. Yes, they did.
It was, all the Clements were there, and how these people in about a 2-hour span all got together. They had cakes even made and decorated for state champs. We're like, who could bake that fast?
They knew you was going to win, Kathy.
Oh, it was fabulous. It was one of the greatest times.
You know, baseball, of course, was really, really strong for Orient and back in the 30s, but World War II broke out, and actually amateur baseball was faded until about 1942, and a group of us put together an old-timers and young-timers amateur baseball, and we played a few games. Believe it or not, I was age 15, Bob was age 16, he played outfield, and I was the main pitcher at age 15.
Third base then.
Was the third base, anyhow, I was the main pitcher. But after that, after World War II ended, we began amateur baseball, and in 1946, our team went to Watertown. We only won 1 game, but we still went. In 1947, I became the manager of the amateur baseball team, and our team again went to, I think it was 1947 or 48, to the state B tournament, won our first game and lost the second.
48.
And at the end of 1950, we found that we did not have enough boys or men to play amateur baseball. So Bob and I initiated the midget baseball program. And after the kids got old enough to play teener ball, we had a teener team. And then we kind of developed a farm system in which we had t-ball, and we had what we call rinky-dinks, was 8, 9, and 10, and midgets and teener. When teeners got too old, we started Legion. So we actually had 5 different ball teams going, and we had very successful midget teams. At one time in Fall County alone, we had 8 midget teams and 6 teener teams and 3 Legion teams in the early 60s. So we had a lot of competition within our county. Now, we were fortunate to win the state Legion tournament in 1974. We beat some very big teams like Sisseton, South Dakota. We beat Redfield. We beat a lot of teams, and we did beat Canova in the finals. In 1977, I should say, we won the state B tournament in Waubee. And again, we came from behind, got 2 runs in the last to win the game. And in 1979, again, we went to the state tournament, and we were defeated by Clark in a 9-inning game. 7 innings, it's the usual game for teeners, and our pitcher actually had a state strikeout record of 14 men in 7 innings, and we got beat 1-0 in 9 innings. But we went on and we won 2 other games, so we won 5th place consolation. I continued baseball until 1980, and physically I couldn't do these games anymore, so I did relent managing and coaching, but I was also the Region 8 VFW State Commissioner until 1889. In 1889, I was out of baseball. Bob?
In the high school, we thought we were going to win the state. We had Virgil, Hank Booger, Paul Anglin, Bruce Conway. War come out, Bruce Conley played Creighton High and Creighton U. Paul Lino went to West Coast, played semi-pro basketball with. He got hurt, I was the only one left.
You couldn't win it alone, Bob?
Not alone. If we'd have had Virgil, we'd have been tough.
Yes,
But those were good days,
Oh, they were great.
great days.
the memories, yes.
Yeah,
Ball
got
has
the
brought a
memories.
lot to this community. And all of us, too, I
Yeah.
guess. It's
Well, country kids don't have anything else to do,
no.
and that's out for them. Otherwise, they work in the field till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
And Orient's just that ballpark. It's something about, you can go, it's a family-orientated
Yeah.
thing. Everyone packs up their kids, coolers, you park around there, and you enjoy the game. It's just nothing like it.
In 1935, Falcon won the state amateur tournament. But Orient team beat them one time, and Falcon team beat them one time. But the Orient team got beat by Pierre, so Falcon won the league, and they went to the state tournament. They picked up an Orient pitcher named Pete Agin, and he actually beat a team from Rapid City like 2-1 in 9 innings. And then Falcon went on to win the state amateur tournament in 1935. But I remember Pete very well.
Your road trips, Virgil, probably.
What
with
I
the
rem-
boys.
You took the boys.
Those were good.
We had kind of a problem to begin with. At one time, we played Little League Baseball in Highmore. And come time to go, no cars except mine. I had a 1961 Chevy. I told the boys, those that can't get in can't go. The ball equipment in the trunk, and there were 17 boys when we went to the game. So I said, we better remedy that. So I bought a pickup and I built a kind of a camper deal, and I carried the boys around to all baseball games after that.
Yep.
I remember that well. Bob, you want to tell about the time we were coming through Miller and it just decided to take us to the Buck Night on the drive-in movie? You remember that?
Yeah, and I got held because somebody never told her folks. We beat Redfield, went to the movie. She says, they can play in Redfield too, or Falcon too.
Yeah, some of the parents were a little upset when we didn't get in for a
Well, the
couple of-
kids all said they called the folks.
When I played for Margene one time, I'll never forget this. Let's see if you remember. I think we were, usually our little league tournaments that were always in Miranda because they had lights. So anyway, there was a dance in Orient. And Margene had told us girls we could not go to that dance because we had to play ball the next day. We were going to be at this championship. So of course, us girls went to the dance.
Of course.
And, but none of us did drink a beer. We never even snuck
You
one.
didn't?
No, we never. We came, and it's hard to believe, but
I know
we wanted to win ball. But we did come to the dance. Oh my God. And I remember we were all here, we wore dresses, and then I think this guilt was over us. We didn't have a good time, but we went.
You thought I was gonna walk in the door.
I know it, that's true. Years later, I coached a group of girls at the Steeple Bar, had a dance. And these girls are in a tournament, and they're all staying at my house, which is just a couple blocks up the street from the Steeple. So, and I knew I'd have a problem. These girls, if I tell them no, they can't go. So I told them they could go to the dance. So they all went down to the street dance, but I told them they had to be back by midnight. So, because the next day we were in Warner and Millette playing in this tournament, and they were undefeated. So anyway, they go to the dance. At midnight, every one of them come home.
They did.
Everyone, on time, gosh, the whole team. They go upstairs, they get ready for bed, and they come down, say, "Good night, coach," and I'm looking at them. Then I go in my bedroom, and I just look out my window and watch them all sneak out. And the thing, the dead giveaway was they didn't wash their makeup off. If they didn't wash their faces, I knew they were going to sneak out because that's what I'd have done. So sure enough, they all snuck out, went to the dance. I waited for those little farts till 2 in the morning I gave them. They still weren't home. So then, by now, I am a mad coach. I'm in my pajamas. I don't even get dressed. And I go storming down the street yelling, any of my ball players better get home. Girls were just running every direction. The next day, then we got home and I said, okay, if you want to stay up all night, that is what we're going to do.
Oh, boy.
And I wouldn't let him go to bed. We sat there all night.
Well, my memories of Orient are great. We had a great time, and when I moved, Kathy took over, and Vicki Weisler helped,
She was in there before me.
and then she moved.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, you know. The ladies I know always will remember. Lois Hargis was just talking about it. We had more fun, and us girls had more fun, and
Yes, we
it was great.
How many years were you in it, Margie?
Well, about from 65, and we moved in 77.
And how it really got started again then was one day at the Scenic Station. Brian Beidler was a little kid, and he was in the Scenics talking to Ross Hanson was there and Greg Dufault. And he was talking about a baseball team. Why did they have a team? And really, Ross Hanson and Greg said, right, let's get a team. Let's start ball again, which they did that very summer. And then my little sister Mary and Barb Fredrickson, I think it was, coached. They had one girls team. And they coached them that year. And then after that, I took over because those girls were a little young, and plus they were playing ball and things to do, and I had a daughter in it, so then I took over then. And then my husband Gary took over with the baseball, because then we had a son playing. And then for a while we had built it to, we had 14 teams in town, between boys and girls.
Isn't that
we had
great
built
for
this
a little
ball
town?
program. It was unreal.
It is.
There was a ball game every
Yeah.
night in town. And I'm so glad that Orient still keeps it going with Kelly Aesop and Joanne Aesop and that, and Sam. And I'm not exactly sure how many teams they have. I feel bad. I haven't made it to the ballpark this year. But I know we've got a couple girls teams and maybe 3 or so boys teams.
Who's
Yeah.
coaching the girls teams?
Mary Schlechter
Oh.
is coaching.
Okay.
I know one of them. I remember there was a little town called Chester.
Oh, yeah, over there by Madison.
And before us, Chester reigned in girls softball. They had won, I don't know how many years straight. And then Orient took over the reign. So it would be a big thing when we'd show up for the state tournament. The umpires would all have their bets on, who could knock us out. And of course, we played this one team, and I think they were from Woonsocket or Madison.
Probably Madison, that's what Rex, my son,
They were
calls.
always, a big rival.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, their main coach, it was his birthday, the day of the state tournament. And it was the second day, and as soon as I got to the ballpark, the umpires were like, have you seen the Madison coach, Kathy? Have you seen the Madison coach? And I'm like, well, no, why? Oh, you've got to read his shirt. Well, on his shirt it said, all I want for my birthday is to beat Orient.
Again, I was involved in baseball for 42 years, but I've had some real good memories. One, probably my best memory was in 1947, amateur baseball. We beat Wessington. We got to go to the state tournament. I was elated. But of course, the state tournaments and so forth, I would really believe that I got more excited when we got to win to go to the state tournaments than winning in the state tournament. That's my big feeling else. But we've had many good ball clubs. We had one player that actually tried out for Major League Baseball, but he was told at the age 22 that he was too old to play. He was a pitcher, Pat Weisler.
Yep.
And they flew him into San Diego to try out. He was a senior at Northern State College, or Northern State University now, I should say. But they said he was too old because he had to spend quite a few years in minor league baseball, and he would be too old for it.
All right, Bob.
We won the state in Teeners and we won it in Legion.
Pretty good for a little town. of
Damn
50.
right.
That's it.
That's it right there, isn't it?
That's the time of my baseball.
So Millie, what's your favorite story? Your favorite Hanson memory?
Most, that's all I did. I mean, after I got through with scorekeeping, then we had to do this meal. You know, and you're talking, well, there was 60 people at the house after every game. That's my memories.
Did the parents pitch in and bring food, or how?
Yeah, oh yes, there was it was potluck. They brought all the food and all the coolers went into the porch before we went to the game. And then afterwards, it was all brought out and everybody had food. And there was food.
Around here, there was always food, and there was a lot of home-cooked food.
Oh, there was a lot of food, you know.
How come us girls never got to eat, Margie?
Because
I'm just hearing these stories. We didn't get that.
but think about it, the girls were.
Well, I think we always had it for the bar.
Well, that's true.
Well, I think it's time to go.
We knew what our priorities were.
All right, well, thanks everybody for all your dedication and your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing this.
It's my pleasure.
It takes about 3
That's a
counts to
cut.
get up.
Thank you.